Vlog number 7 part 2. If you haven't seen part 1, be sure to check that one out first, but I'm just going to jump straight in and I'll see you in a sec. A thing that I critique myself on in my concept is that the urban farming was very adult dominated, and I thought, how could I create a space for urban farming that kids can get involved with as well. So I've got almost this island in the middle, and kids could sit along here. This is a table, a teacher, a parent, anything like that can talk to them, explain what's going on. It's right near the urban farming as well. This is a greenhouse / tool shed. So there's going to be an access point that is here and here, so children can, or anybody for that matter, can access through here. But or if you're doing some planting here, you can walk straight in there in that direction. Just here we've got rainwater harvesting barrels, and we've got compost bins here. So I want this to be a very sustainable urban farm. We've still got the pop-ups here, so people can grab a newspaper, grab a coffee, anything like that. We've still got the viewing point that's here. These are planters, but you can also sit on these like timber embedded seating on the planters. I haven't put the planting in yet, but I will get there. Or they can have an alternative picnic bench with their cup of coffee and newspaper if they so wish. We have got the food bank here. This will consist of obviously the plants that were harvested from the urban farm, or just anything people want to donate. These are donate bins, so you can put clothes in there, shoes, anything like that. So this is a very communal area. And for the kids, I wanted to obviously introduce that social aspect that I wanted to remove from this area, because it used to be a cemetery. So we've got that pop of colour. We've got equipment for all types of kids, all ages. I need to put like a gate around this. This is for much smaller children, and I've put a picnic bench in there. So because they're much smaller children, parents like to be a little bit closer. But these are more for the bigger kids. Have a slope up here, so I've opened up this because they said it was still too blocky. So I wanted to break that up. We've got some picnic benches here. I want this to be, at the moment I wanted it to be a wildflower meadow, but I'm not too sure if that can be achieved. So this is definitely a question mark at the moment, but I kind of wanted this flowering movement, and people still sit on the staggered green space. Introduce a slope that proper opens up the space. However, a staircase here, because there's also a gate here, so the slope would block off this gate. So I did a staircase here, so people can, and like there's bins here, so they can take their bins out, they can come out the gate. The gate opens inwards, so comes in this way, so that it's fine. And then they can come down here. This is one level, the same as this. And then they continue down the slope to put the bins all the way out. Disabled parking is just here. Dormant Square, as I previously mentioned. I won't go over that too much, as there hasn't been too much change. We've got the little pocket parks that's going to go on here. I'm changing the cycle path as I want to make it more linear here, but it's linear here. I still haven't finished doing it here, but that's kind of where I'm at with the master plan at the moment. So now I just want to briefly go over what I'm planning to do for the following sheets. So I've kind of set up these pages already. I've just put the halfway done rendered master plan just in there as like a placeholder for the minute. But how I would lay it out, still following the same format as the other 2 pages. I'm going to begin with the establishment of the redesign, move on to the master plan key. These are just placeholder texts at the moment. I just like to plan out my sheet so I know exactly what I need to do. So I'm going to split this up into 4 quarters, as I think it will just be easiest explained that way. We're going to have a visual of Dormant Square here and a cross section there. Following on, it's going to be a second page for master plan, and I'm going to have a visual for the 4 quarters overview of each bit, and then a cross section again. And then this is where I go into the site design. So we've like proper zoomed in now, and this is sort of the area I wanted to zoom into. Obviously this is not designed yet. Well, I've designed it, but haven't rendered my version of this. So I wanted to do this section. I thought this was the best section to do site detail design, because I'm introducing a lot of slopes and there's a lot of construction work going on in this section, and I'm trying to really break down this journey and trying to really open it up. So I thought that was the most vital place to do my site design. I definitely touch base on the other bits I've done, but I think this is a good focus point because it links everything that I have done. So on the side I'll discuss movement and pathways, playscapes, viewpoints, flower garden, and then like separately go into planting, primary pathways, secondary pathways, and then we're going to do several pages on softscape and then several pages on hardscape. So I'm going to begin with the flower garden. So we're going to have like a nice little visual there of the planting plan. Here's going to be a Excel spreadsheet of how it's going to be planted, how many there's going to be, etc. All the different names of the flowers that I'm going to put there and all sorts like that. And then I'm going to look at seasonality. So here I'm going to try and demonstrate what these flowers are going to look at the different seasons, and try and do like a visual along the bottom. So I'm going to do this again for the planting beds and the planting roof hardscape. So I'm going to look at the construction site design of the journey. So this is like construction at this point. So this is going to be a CAD file. So we're going to look also at, I haven't changed the word planting plan there, but I'm just trying to copy the format, but that will be edited as I go through. But this is going to be the hardscape. I'm going to talk about the texture, the weathering it will have, and then I'm going to look at paving. So I'm going to have section view, plan view, same for secondary paving. The slope, the main slope I'm going to look at. Same again, but for the viewing plaza up top. Same again, quite repetitive, and then the garden roof, and pretty much finish it there. So here I'm just experimenting at a garden centre with some plants for my planting scheme, seeing if the textures work, fragrances, whether the plants work well together, whether I like the tone and all stuff like that. And then I went home and just made these collage pages to see if 100% I like these. I still think there's a few tweaks I need to make to the planting scheme, but this is sort of the general idea I'm going with, I think. So along the hedgerow, I thought the hedging around these like little pocket parks, I thought beech would look really nice because in the colder months it goes sort of this really rich brown colour, and the hedgerow is famous for its red brick, and I think that would complement it quite nicely. I also wanted to create some height just following on to like my concept sort of idea. I really liked this prunus, Cerilla. I could possibly be saying that very wrong, but I really like the red tones. Like I said again, like I want to continue this theme throughout, having sort of these rich red tones that flow well with the red brick. I don't want it to be too repetitive, so I did kind of want to break it up slightly and bring in some silver birch. But where there's silver birch, I wanted, I'm going to have some trouble pronouncing the names, but hopefully you can read it. And then with the prunus, have the silver queen. So we've got the tom thumb with the silver birch and the silver queen with the prunus. And Cookrit Street, which is just there. They have a lot of grasses, so I thought it would be a nice way to complement that. So the miscanthus along the hedgerow is Dormant Square. Moving on to this is the journey that I was just on about, and they're going to have similar sort of plants. So what I wanted to do here, so just here and the wall just sitting here, it's quite a harsh red brick wall, not the most attractive to look at. So I thought this Boston ivy would be a great climber there, because it grows quite high. I believe it grows about 8-9 metres, and it's quite a tall wall, and we're keeping in the theme of like these reddy undertones. And I think these plants that will be sitting amongst these planters will complement this quite nicely. It's like hints of green now, like really popping, and we've got the hint from the hedgerow using the miscanthus. I wanted to create some texture, so I thought this Hebe Emerald Green was a great example, and just adding some interest to the plant beds with these plants here, and along the back I quite liked this arrowwood to bring some height to the planters. And then moving on from that to the Garden of Rest concept. So I wanted this common lilac because I felt like it was almost similar to the arrowwood but not quite the same, to have along the back here, because my concept, these are just concept images, but as you've seen it's changed a lot since then. So along here, but I definitely think I'm going to still look around for that one, what I want to put there, and then have the Hebe that you see in the original planters. So linking, having one plant that continues on, so that it links and it flows. And then along here, as you saw in my previous master plan, you have like those movements of wildflower. So the reason why I'm questioning this is because I want to have this movement and I want it to stay in one space. And as we all know, wildflower has a mind of its own, it's wild. And I know you can get lawn for wildflower meadow, but eventually do what it wants. It's going to be quite a lot of management, and it will probably be quite messy. But the problem I have is these like stepped lawns people sit on. It's no deeper than like 15 centimetres. So there isn't a huge amount of plants that will happily sit there and thrive. But I don't want to just leave it as lawn, because I want to reduce people playing there because of the cemetery history. So that's a dilemma. If anybody has any suggestions, it would highly be appreciated. So that concludes vlog 7 part 2. If you've watched both, you're a trooper, and thank you for watching, and I'll see you next week. Thank you. Bye.